Serial trader, trading with no emotion and helping you learn to do the same. Let me know what you guys think of the opener. Just throwing some stuff out there. Channel still new. Certainly open to suggestions and comments. Alright, well, let's get into this. Bitcoin daily chart. What is going on with Bitcoin? Some people are saying. Well, for the longest time on this daily chart, from our peak, I was working this overall correction as a WXY, or a double zigzag, okay? And that means you have a zigzag connected by an X wave, which can be a variety of corrective patterns, including a zigzag itself, by the way. And then another zigzag for wave Y, hence a double zigzag. And then I was working the interpretation that, okay, that was the bottom. And then we had what can certainly be considered a 5-wave move up from the bottom, although not a perfect looking one. And still a 3-wave move down, despite what's happened recently. So that is certainly still a possibility. Well, what else could be going on? Because there could always be something else going on. It's just your job as an analyst to determine what is the most likely thing that's going on given the current available information. So this is another possibility that we have a W, X, Y, X, Z. And what is that? That's a triple zigzag. So it's a 5-3-5 pattern joined by a corrective X wave and a variety of patterns can serve as that X wave. Another 5-3-5 zigzag for wave Y joined by an X wave. And by the way, even though this can be considered a 5-wave move up, there's also a way of interpreting it as a 3-wave move up. And I'll show you that a little later on when we zoom in. And remember what I said about not being a perfect looking 5? Well, maybe that was a little hint that should have been noticed sooner. Anyways, and then a final third zigzag to finish the move off the new lows in a triple zigzag. So that's possible. And then other than that, I'm not really seeing any obvious Elliott patterns. I mean, we certainly don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, because the termination point of what you would call wave 1 and the termination point of what you would call wave 4 overlap, and that's just not the way an Elliott impulsive decline unfolds. And it's certainly not a diagonal either. It just doesn't have the right look. There's some people calling it a diagonal. I disagree with that. And one more thing, we'll bring up the T-line. So you see even on the daily here, I think we were looking at the hourly and maybe the 4-hour last time with the T-line. You see on the downtrend, the T-line acts as resistance, uptrend acts as support, downtrend acts as resistance, and then starts acting as support. Here it's not overly clear, it's dancing around it, acts as support, and now again acting as resistance. And more importantly, you see that the T-line can certainly get nicked. You can jump over it, but do you close above the T-line? And no, we haven't closed above that T-line, well, since here. Since that reversal candle, we have not closed above the T-line. That closed below, 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 way below. So I wouldn't get too excited from the long side until you at least start closing above the T-line again, and we're just not there yet. So don't rush the trade. I know it might look like a really good place to buy Bitcoin. Certainly could be, but there's just not enough price evidence to consider it, bottomed at this point. Our proposal before for that 8,400 roughly bottom being in place, there were certainly reasons at the time to think that that may have been a reasonable thing, and it even held for multiple days, but ultimately it didn't hold. So if that was a level that you traded against, there certainly was an opportunity to go above there. There was a few shorter term trades, but ultimately you would have been stopped out if you didn't adjust your stop higher. And that's where trade management comes in. So the nice thing about trade management is you can still be wrong and actually make money. So you want to get out of your head as a trader that you have to be right to make money. That's not true. In fact, you should accept that you're going to be wrong all the time and just get it over with, because that's just the way it's going to be. And then start managing your trades accordingly. Anyways. Oh, another thing before I move in closer to smaller time frames. It's not overly clear at the moment from an analytical perspective what's going on with Bitcoin. It may still be going to test or make a new bottom, or the bottom may already be in and this is just a short-term correction. If I had to assign a probability to either of those scenarios, it's 50-50. There's just there's no confidence to say one way or the other at this point. And I think a lot of analysts have a problem saying that or admitting that because they feel, oh, well, I'm an analyst, I should know what's going on all the time. No, you should be good enough to know when you don't know and when the trade just isn't there, and you should just wait. Because if you wait long enough, it will clarify itself. And you don't have to lose money trying to guess what's going on in the meantime. Anyway, not to go off on a tangent. Just thought I'd bring that up because it is important. Well, let's drop down to the 4 hour. So 4 hour, the proposal before, right? Proposal was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an impulse for a possible wave 1 or wave A. Too early to tell at the time. Still too early to tell. And then working a 3-wave decline, right? And actually, that was the proposition before, but now that would have to be moved there. But this is problematic. So what else could be going on? Well, clear this up a bit. Okay, we could have something like this. Why not? You can get 5 out of that. You get 3 out of that for B, and the C would be extended, but that could still be a type of zigzag. And if that's true, that's a corrective pattern. And if that's true, it'll be more than fully retraced to the downside, which will mean we'll make a new bottom on this move down. Certainly possible. Something to be aware of. Don't die on your wave count. You have to be willing to change your mind if the market forces you to. So, why do I have a problem with this being ABC? Why do I have a problem with that? Well, I'll explain. So, in an ABC, you should have a 5-wave move for A, and you could certainly get 5 out of this. Okay? Let's take a stab at doing that. You know, 2, 3, 4, doesn't overlap with 5. You know, something like that. Okay? Possible. Certainly make the case. And then you would have a 3-wave move for wave B, ABC for B. Okay, not to make this too dirty. Gets cluttered. And then what you need to have is a 5-wave move down for C. But this isn't working for me. It's not a 1-2. This is almost a continuous drop down. These little pullbacks to the upside aren't big enough. Like, there's no 2 to match this proposed 4. That's too big. So it doesn't have the right look. And in the Elliott wave principle, R.N. Elliott talks about the right look. Okay, that's very important. So this doesn't look like a 5-wave decline. Just like a move down, a move up, another move down. So what might be going on? Let's get rid of this. Well, 1 down, 2 up, 3, 4, heading down lower in 5. Maybe. if that's the case, we're going, you know, significantly lower, well below 6,000. So you see what I'm getting at? There's too many possibilities, and I don't really see a probability at this point from a trading perspective. And if you go in closer, it gets even more confusing from an Elliott perspective. So let's go to the hourly. Okay. Actually, let's make that the 15-minute. So before, I think in the last video, you know, just throwing out some potential wave counts. I was thinking maybe, you know, we had a 1 up, 2 down. Let me get the tool out. Right? 1 up, 2 down, and we had a wave 3 in progress. And then of course there'd be a 4 or 5, and on we go. That's not what happened at all. So this certainly was a nice 5-wave looking structure. And that wasn't incorrect in identifying that. But the count, its overall place in the structure, that's what was incorrect. So what actually happened, we had something like this. ABC up. And what's ABC up mean? It means once it's fully, you know, completed the pattern, it'll be more than fully retraced to the downside. And it was. So this was actually a zigzag, not a beginning impulsive advance. So now what do we have? Well, have a look. 1 down, 2 up, 3 down, certainly possible. And then within 3, you have a 1, 2, third of a third, and we got a 4 or 5 for 3. We'll see. But the bottom line is, it could bottom at any point here, although there's no reason to believe at this point that it has, or that it's close to doing so. I would have a lot of trouble shorting it, but I'd have a lot of trouble going long on it with any confidence as well. So if you get any kind of resounding message from this update, it should be that you should wait and see when you don't know what's going on. You're not always going to have a clear idea, or even when you do have a clear idea, you're not always going to be right. Protect your trades and admit to yourself when you don't know exactly what's going on, when it's unclear. Never take an unclear trade. There's just no need to. Your money deserves more respect than that. All right, well, hopefully you guys got something out of that update. Again, let me know what you think of the dark theme. Any other comments or suggestions? Serial Trader signing off.